Somebody say police, they find me. Your father, bye-bye, lolo pamawa. Apparently, a lot of people have been sending me a message from a lady on Facebook. Her name is Jane Felix Ogbonna. Jane Felix Ogbonna said many things in her video and mentioned me. And here are some things that I'd like to talk about, because I find it unfair that I'm being blamed for what I have no responsibility of. First of all, I'll tell my side of the story, because it's unfair for people to just blame me. Yes, I took my own blame, because I invited Blessing CEO the day that story broke. It was a story. I run a blogazine, a audio visual blogazine, where we talk about things happening in the news. I've been doing this for at least 5 years, and it was exactly what I was doing on the radio before I branched off the radio, so I could have my own voice and my own platform. Story. So this particular lady on Facebook, Jane Felix Ogbonna, made quite a few statements, and I must be honest, I am not particularly happy with this. I said earlier on, I brought Blessing CEO on my live. The very first day I brought Blessing CEO was the day the story broke. And this is what we do. We handle breaking stories, from the political sector to religious stories to anything and everything that people talk about. And instead of talking about what we talk about in private, we talk about them in public and share opinions and rub minds. So I brought Blessing CEO, and Blessing CEO was her usual Blessing CEO self. She did make some points. A lot of people might have found the points insensitive, but that was her truth. And in life, you've got to be able to tell your truth. She said that the lady in question wanted to buy. That's why she kept going back to the toxic union.
Bimbo, I'm sorry to say this. It might come off as I'm being inhuman or being insensitive, but this is the fact. Bimbo have always wanted to die.
Hey!
From the beginning of the story, yes. She has always wanted to. But the fact is that maybe she wants to take the man along with her. Yes, there's a point of your life whereby you feel that I cannot go alone. She has always been, because she has always been violent. She has always been fighting. She had every reason to leave. Have you noticed something, Daddy Freeze, right? It's so easy for us to blame domestic violence on women. But I took my time and went back to the previous, videos. It's always Bimbo that is going live. It's always Bimbo that is fighting. It's always Bimbo that is breaking. It's always Bimbo that is complaining. And from everything that has transpired between them, the ones that we've seen and the ones that we've heard, you will see that the man was not necessarily tying this woman. Forget all this noise. When somebody dies, people just want to look for someone to blame. When I saw the video of her elder sister crying, if not because somebody had died, I was like, what is all this drama for? Why are you dramatizing? That's the honest truth. Your sister wanted to stay. And in the relationship, if you watch those videos and clips that have gone, the woman was in control. She was always the one fighting the man. She was always the one breaking. She was always the one. That's the honest truth.
And I say that all the time. I say if you continue being in a toxic union, it's like you have a buy wish. Anybody who has been a follower of Daddy Freeze, I'm very big on divorce. Any small thing like this, way go threaten your existence. Baba, come out for that marriage. Now, my message, and I've been on that message for years, because I've seen in the course of my message, I don't see like 5 people wake by, including gospel singer Osinachi, where her husband still in prison, according to the narrative. So I understood where Blessing CEO was coming from, but I also had a soft spot for the lady because she was my follower. So I'm torn in between Blessing CEO saying the truth, or saying her truth, and the lady's family who would be going through pain. Then Blessing took it a notch higher and announced that she was IVD's, what's that thing called? IVD's special, that she's the relationship therapist in charge of this IVD story. That, for me, was a bit much. She said she's now the official therapist or the official relationship counselor for IVD, and then started releasing evidence. By the way, I've never said this publicly, but I did invite Blessing IVD for an interview, and to balance it, I also invited members of the late Bimbo's family for an interview. You guys come and talk. IVD said he was going to talk when he came. When at that time he said he needed some time to mourn. The lady's family too came and went, and they wanted to come. Then after a while they said no, they're not gonna. So it was. I tried to be as open with the narrative as humanly possible. Blessing, however, now started releasing what she considered evidence, and I called Blessing up. I was like, Blessing, Taste Buds was there that day. I was like, Blessing, you can't just be said no, that she knows what she's doing, that she has evidence. I say, all this kind of evidence is not easy to release like this, so you have to be careful. Then Blessing went to do a movie. That was we discussed the movie on my live. I'm not saying Blessing doesn't have a right to do a movie or to express her opinion, but it was a bit worrying for me. I tried to tell Blessing CEO this. Blessing CEO was like, no, that she has evidence, she's going to come with it. Wait till I talk again, we pass like that. So I left it. Now, we can't hear story. All of us were in our houses, minding our business. The next thing now, Blessing CEO go tattoo, or be the guy tattoo. The next thing we can't release matching tattoo. Rumor come begin say, they date. That one can't weak me. But you see, Blessing CEO is a grown woman. Blessing CEO is not my daughter. Blessing CEO is not my mother's child. And I cannot tell you that Blessing CEO cannot date whoever it is she wants to date. My only issue in that scenario was, if truly she was dating the person, they should have, for the sake of the family and what they're going through, kept it at least a secret. My understanding, I may be wrong, I stand corrected, but that's my opinion. I cannot say Blessing CEO cannot date IVD. I can never say it. My issue is, the family is mourning. It's a sensitive time. So I also don't blame Blessing CEO for trying to come out and do something that would bring attention to her page. Have I called Blessing CEO since she has been arrested? Of course. Have I had conversations with her? Of course. Have I directed her in the path that she could use to help herself? Definitely. I've spoken to people who are of influence. I have talked to people who can do things on her behalf. Absolutely. So I don't understand why people can now blame me for not standing shorty for Blessing CEO. What the same woman I mentioned earlier on, what's her name again? Jane Felix Ogbonna. Jane Felix Ogbonna said, if na my wife they arrest, I for don't go bail am. You see, I want to address Jane Felix Ogbonna. Jane Felix Ogbonna is one of those people on Facebook that is always pro-marriage, which seems to be going against Blessing CEO's teaching, and Blessing CEO is talking to single women. Let me break your heart. We do not live in biblical times. We actually do not even live in times where you can easily relate the Bible to everyday living. We are not in a theocracy, we are in a democracy, and unlike in the Bible where women didn't really have rights, we live in a world where women actually have rights. So, Blessing CEO's message is more for the single ladies, the women who want to be emancipated, women who want to walk out of marriages where no make sense. While the other lady is more stay in your marriage. I watched her 11-minute plus video and I jotted down some things and I'm going to share them with you. One of the things she said is, I would choose to be under a man whether na keke he dey ride. This is what the lady says, Jane Felix Ogbona on Facebook. She says, I will choose to be under a man whether na keke he dey ride. Auntie Jane, that one not make sense. So every woman should have a husband. What you are saying, in my humble opinion, no vex, no be say I dey enter you. I just tell you my own side. If you don't agree with me, wetin you dey talk be say, if woman no get choice of husband, men she go marry keke rider. So you're telling me somebody like Natural Gambia or Ada Blessing, as nobody greet toast Ada, make Ada go marry keke rider.